cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexisting, but to know.
What's up, good people, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, EP99, along with Freddie G, K Money, and Slash. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. I want everybody that's on YouTube to go out and subscribe and click the like button. Follow us on X at 52 Scott Podcast and on IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. What's up, good people, and welcome back to another edition of Think Thursday. Today's topic: how it all ends, how the world ends. You know, many people have all types of ways they think it may end. You know, you have the scientists out here. Some people think it's by natural. It'll be by natural disasters, but I'm going to read a couple of verses from the Bible. That's my go-to. So this verse comes from Second Peter chapter 3 verses 10. And it says, "But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, and the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be dissolved with fire, and the earth and everything on it will be burned up." Now that's in 2 Peter, and then also in 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 12. So it's two verses over. "Looking for the hastening and coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be dissolved, being on fire, and the elements will melt with fervent heat." I'm sorry. So they have about 3 verses in Peter alone, and I know there's a verse also in Revelations. But we've got so many scientists and so many. I know you guys watch the A&E channels. They have so many. I've been watching so many shows, and I'm like, why won't you just pick up the Bible? But there are 12 ways that they say, looking at the AI, God, what is the name of that? The AI chat, they're saying there's ways that it could happen, right? Now, most of these, they have 12 different ways, and most are by fire, so we're going to go over that, and the most likely scenario that we possibly think that could happen. And we're just going to talk about it, all right? So, first of all, let me get y'all take on it. What y'all think? What do y'all, what do you think will happen when it's time for this earth to perish?
Me personally, I truly don't have an answer for that. My belief is not that far into knowing or thinking I know how the world's gonna end. But I think what my main concern is how my world's gonna end. You know, everybody's world gonna end different. If I would like to have a choice, it would be peaceful.
Of course.
You know, nothing that would be murderous.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
Or painful.
Yeah, you know. So, but like I say, you know, I couldn't say I think the world gonna end because God gonna set it on fire.
True.
You know, I don't want to say that.
Right.
I don't want to become, because I'm not gonna say that, because that's kind of like scientific now.
Mm-hmm. And you're
because God ain't never put no fire on the earth to burn it up.
There it is.
Why would He burn up His creation? The devil is gonna burn up something.
I agree. Freddie G with your hiccuping self. I hear you over there hiccuping. I had to get you. You got anything you want to throw in on this?
Well, I'm kind of in line with Slash, man. Okay, so think about the beginning of the world. the beginning. Excuse my hiccups. Mm-hmm. And how long ago that was? We're talking BC.
Correct.
And it just keeps evolving and evolving,
Right.
and evolving and evolving.
It ain't stopped yet.
And it ain't stopped. So I don't know. I know what the Bible says,
Right.
but I also know that when you're reading the Bible, what one person may interpret from a scripture, somebody else may interpret something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll never fully understand the whole meaning of the Bible. We can assume.
I don't think it was meant for us to understand
Right.
every part.
Every part.
Yeah. So I think that we'll just keep evolving. I think that the earth, everything will just keep evolving.
Yeah.
K Money.
Well, I'm more or less concerned and as to how my life will end versus I don't think I'm gonna be around when the world comes to an end. So that's the least of my concerns.
Yeah.
So you say you don't think you'll be around.
You don't think you'll
when
be
the world come to an end. So it tells me that you believe that the world will come to an end.
I part of me do believe that it will, but part of me also believe in what you were saying, how we continue to evolve and it hasn't ended yet. So, I'm like I always say, I'm straddling the fence on that one. But if I had to think about it, it would be my own demise versus the world.
Yeah. Okay. So with that, my thought, the by fire. I think it's how in the Bible it says whatever your right hand does to offend you, cut it off. It's symbolic, right? I think it's symbolic. The fire, I can see it because the earth every year is always hotter. The ozone layer is weakening. I can see that possibly happen, or 47 doing something stupid and it's a nuclear war. So that's by fire. So those are the two. That's just my thought. But we're going to go over these from AI. There are many potential existing threats to Earth and humanity. So here are a few disasters that could possibly end civilization as we know it. So the first one they have here is an asteroid impact. We don't think about that. They have quite a few asteroids that are rotating. Some are close, but not close enough to hit. I know y'all have seen them come across your screen where they say, yeah, this asteroid is going to be close. It's a possibility. And they'll put it up, big breaking news. You've seen it.
Never hits.
Never hits. Doesn't be close. But they have some that they do show. So I think they had one that they're supposed to hit in 2006 and 16. And
did they have actual live footage and pictures?
Yeah, but they didn't hit. They weren't close enough. Yeah. But they saying it's 1%. They always put the 1% on there. 1%.
I think that being a natural thing, just like natural thing of God.
Yes.
Just like Earth. I don't think he put us in harm's way with something else that he created.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be just as great as Earth, because nothing else does what an asteroid does.
True. That's true. Now this is one that could possibly, because we have that one here. What is that? Yellowstone National Park? A super volcanic eruption. A massive volcanic eruption. I know Yellowstone has one. Yeah. That's here in the U.S. That they had that one in the Philippines.
You saying a volcano?
Yeah, a volcano. Yeah, yes it is, sir. yes it is. It clearly says Yellowstone IEEG. It's one in there. Yeah, they have one. You didn't know that?
I mean, I know they had the hot springs or whatnot, or whatever they call it.
But under them, it's a volcano.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a volcano.
Well, supposedly there's a lot of different places where volcanoes can erupt, and just recently, in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of different volcanoes erupting all over.
Yeah, exactly.
They're calling it the Ring of Fire, but I mean, I'll give some other people a chance to research that, because there's volcanoes everywhere that can actually separate the Earth's crust.
Yeah.
And it's important, and a lot of times they don't talk about it, but these are some of the things, if you about life and not saying that you researching the end of the world, but you looking at certain stuff that could be very important, to know in order to know if you need to make a move or something, because it can break the states in half, the right volcanic explosion or in a certain area, or however many of them. Let's say if it's 7 of them in a row,
right,
that can create a whole new different state.
Yeah. I remember the one in the Philippines. Man, I'll never forget. We went after. It was the aftermath, and in Philippines they got all the clubs and stuff, but we were still going, and we had ash up to our knees going to the club. Stupid, just stupid. We ash up to our knees. You hear me? It was terrible.
Ashes to ash to dust.
Yeah, going to the club, ashed up. Stupid. Oh, I was 19, I think. Oh man, I remember that, but. They went through a lot, man. They had a lot of ash everywhere. It didn't matter inside the restaurant, outside.
It was just ashy everywhere.
Ashes everywhere, man.
Couldn't escape it.
Couldn't escape
No.
it. Yeah, it was everywhere.
Can you imagine being there at the time this is coming? This is happening.
I remember. Yeah, that's terrible.
Where to get away? You got to evacuate, and
Yeah, I'm still scarred up. I don't know if y'all remember the one they talked about Pompeii when we was in school in elementary. Remember that Pompeii?
Mm-hmm. They just had I seen a documentary on TV a couple days ago about that.
Yeah, and I always show the mother and the daughter hugged up in the bed. That's the picture I always look.
And that's where they died.
They died. You can see her
holding
her tight.
Yeah.
And that still bothered me. That they scarred me up. Poe Elementary, Edgar Allan Poe Elementary. Y'all scarred me up. Anyway, number 3. Now this is a scary one. This is the one I was talking about with the ozone layer. A gamma ray burst, a powerful burst from a distant star that could strip away the Earth's ozone layer, so exposing deadly radiation to everybody.
Then I'm gonna turn into the Incredible Hulk.
I don't know what's the difference between that and a solar superstorm, an extreme solar flare.
Solar flare?
Yes.
That's heat.
That could destroy the global power grids.
A big heat wave that affects any type of frequency. It definitely affects Wi-Fi frequency, radio frequency. It's a big that.
That's
a big
exactly what
radio
it's saying.
Frequency,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and it disrupts everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what they said. Yep, technology, everything.
Yeah, and it can cause. I think that can cause cancer, if I'm not mistaken, a solar flare.
Slash been reading.
He
y'all.
been reading. He been watching.
Oh yeah, I research a lot of stuff.
You
man.
be watching A&E with me, because that's why I get all this stuff from. I be watching A&E and the other one, the National Geographic, and then the 3 channels I watch, and the Science Channel.
Yeah, certain things I think it's important to know about, even if people don't know.
Exactly.
At least you got some type of briefing on something.
It's interesting.
And know where to run when it's time. Know which way not to go.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
All right, this one is, I don't think this one's likely, but I'm not counting it out. A black hole encounter, a huge rogue black hole passing too close to Earth could disrupt our orbit and swallow the planet.
Now they've been talking about the black hole for a long
time.
So I think it exists. I think it's out there. I think it just hasn't come close enough to our solar system to where we've been affected or sucked into it. But they always looking at it. They always talking about the black hole, and I'm sure they probably sent some astronauts that way.
They think we stupid. I know they have,
and they've lost them and haven't said nothing. and they haven't said nothing.
They spent $20 billion on it and lost it, and don't want to say we just lost $20 billion in the black hole, y'all.
They ain't saying it.
Me myself, I enjoy black hole.
Here we go. Yeah, I bet you do. I'll let it make it though. I want to get it, man, but it's all right. I ain't gonna do it. All right. This is number 47, but this is number 6, but this is 47. We was talking about a nuclear war. A large-scale nuclear conflict could trigger a nuclear winter, making the planet inhabitable.
Now, out of all of those that you read, I believe we're closer to that one.
Yeah,
I think so too. I think so too.
With 47 in office,
even if it's only 2 countries that's involved, it's gonna affect the world.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I mentioned earlier how I don't think I would be around, but if we were to, if World War III were to start, then yeah, that would be the only reason that I would be.
Now, number 7, Freddie G, you might change your mind and you might think this could happen. Because we just seen this on YouTube. I know y'all probably seen it already or IG. Artificial intelligent takeover. Super intelligent AI could turn against humanity.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody just got beat up by an AI robot.
Really?
Yeah, it's on. You go look at it on YouTube.
See,
Somebody just got.
They taking this AI thing too far, and see that, but that's gonna be just the thing to destroy this earth, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's gonna be the greed that destroys the earth. Because you that greedy to where you don't want to pay nobody to work, you're gonna build some robots to take on human form, to do the work,
to save the company's money. But then what about the people?
And then when all of them then stressed out because you making them work hard, you teaching them how to be like us.
You ain't lying.
And when we get to work, you stress us the fuck out. So what do you
What
think?
you think that robot gonna do?
They ain't gonna control themselves like us because we getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the difference. See, the robot, you ain't paying the robot. They ain't gonna give a shit about nothing.
Yeah.
They gonna fuck something up, man.
They're not getting tired or anything like that, though. So you saying they have a conscience?
You think
Nah,
they
I'm
have
saying
an attitude?
they got attitude.
Yeah.
You teaching them how to be.
I think attitude.
Hey, man, they gonna go the fuck off
I
on
think
somebody.
so too. Like, why you got 1,000 of me, my nigga? Where the people at?
Man, they arrogant.
Yeah.
Have you heard of AI?
Yeah, we got robots that's fitted that way. They need to stop right now.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't trust
Man,
the old boy.
Yeah,
be
they
with
try to
47, his homeboy.
They
I
try
don't
to
trust him, man.
Yeah, they try to make us drive for us, and that's bad.
But I mean, if you say I watch movies. I've seen the movie Will Smith was in.
iRobot.
Yeah. Now that same thing happened.
Yeah.
They talked AI to these robots, and one of them just said, "You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going rogue."
Yeah.
And fuck it. And he went rogue and brought some more motherfuckers with him, man. And see, that's what they got to be careful of. They showing it already in the TV, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is what can happen. Somebody already previously thought this shit. So yeah, it's gonna happen, man.
It's gonna
We're gonna be
happen.
fucked up. Trump need to sit down and stop, man, because he
Yeah.
gonna cause a bunch of shit.
Now, I'm a conspiracy. This is number 8. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Y'all know me. I think this is actually happening now with COVID. Biological warfare, a pandemic, a synthetic or natural supervirus could wipe out most of humanity.
Yeah, I think
I
think
think-
that can happen. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Now when you mention COVID.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the people that are passing away, and most of them are in majority. I want to say 90, 100%, 90, 95% are mall entertainers. Now, during COVID, if you was an entertainer, what you had to do? You had to take the COVID shot.
Well, you know what? You got to put COVID in with sickness and disease, man. It's
right,
the same
but
thing.
I think that shot was not meant to be taken. That's just my personal opinion.
I don't know what the shot was about.
Yeah.
But I tell you, man, I don't think the shot was a good thing. I don't think it was the best for everybody. I mean, if COVID worked different, if COVID had different effects on people's body, then of course the vaccine gonna have different effects on people's body.
Exactly.
That we're not gonna see for years and years and years to come. It may be so far down the line that we don't even understand that that's where it came from. If there's not a doctor smart enough to catch that, you know. So it's really, like you say, I don't think it was meant to be a good thing. It was meant to try to help, but I don't think it really, you know.
How different is that COVID shot than the shots that we got, early on, like measles, the tetanus, and all that, those type of shots?
Well,
I mean-
those measles was specifically for measles, but with the COVID, it was a combination of it was a combination like a cocktail. So it was mixed with I knew
I mean,
it's like
but
the flu
the-
and also it was a mixture. It's a cocktail.
It was
of different diseases.
More respiratory,
Yeah.
with COVID. I think so. The effects of the disease or sickness itself was mainly targeted towards a respiratory issue because the ones who had underlying conditions with their breathing and heart and stuff like that were the ones who
got
passed,
affected. Yep.
You know.
Exactly.
So now that means that the COVID shot
assisted with them,
which had to have been something that worked opposite against the COVID disease. Is that harmful in everybody's body? Is it harmful in anybody's body? Do we know? We haven't even tried this out. So I don't think it was a good thing for everybody to take it because we don't know the long run effects of it.
But that's my point with the measles. When we first heard about those shots, and we were all young at that time. You don't think our parents felt the same way?
Yeah, and chicken pox. And stuff like
chicken
that.
pox. I'm saying so.
Let me ask y'all this in regards to COVID. Let's say, first of all, we all witnessed hundreds of thousands of people perishing because of COVID, young and old.
Young and old, right?
Some with underlying health conditions, and some that didn't have underlying health conditions. Let me ask y'all: if nobody ever took the COVID shot, do y'all believe that COVID will still be present right now? Well, we know it's still present,
yeah.
But would it be
an issue?
Would we still? Right now, we can kind of walk around with our hair down a little bit more than we could before. But if nobody ever took that shot,
here's the thing: what makes it so mind-boggling is the fact that you create this cure or something to help the sickness or help the disease, and then you turn around and say that even if you took it, you can still catch it again. What am I taking this for?
Well, that's just like the flu.
Why am I having to keep taking something if I can catch it again? Why don't you just make something and just get rid of it altogether? If it's not costing us, do you have a separate reason why it's not costing us? Is it going to be something that you create to where you're going to have to take yearly and they charge you now like a flu shot?
Yeah.
Is that what it's turning into?
Well, I'm looking at this. We got to pay for the flu shot. Well, they were paying us to take the COVID shot.
I'm saying, is it going to come down to where we start having to pay to take the COVID shot?
They were paying us to take it, so I doubt it. They give that COVID shot away. I haven't heard anybody paying.
You got paid to take the COVID shot?
They were giving out the gift cards, $100 gift cards when they.
Who gave you $100 gift card?
Y'all wasn't watching the news during COVID?
No, sir. I didn't get no $100 gift card.
Yes, I promise. They recall
So
they gave out $100 gift cards to come take that shot.
What you spend your $100 on?
I didn't go get the shot. I went crazy. If you giving me money to take a shot and I know it's $25. I gotta pay to take a flu shot. I know something wrong if you paying me to take a shot.
Remember when I asked earlier, I say, do y'all think if nobody took the shot that would we still be running around like we were today, like we are now? The reason why we're able to not mask up right now is because of the people who did take the shot to actually control what's going on. The people who took the shot actually, it kind of brought things to a point to where it brought the levels down.
I agree. Now that I will agree with.
To prevent the spreading.
But I think long-term effects, long-term COVID, it affected a lot of people and we just not hearing about it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
My arm been hurting ever since I took that COVID shot.
That's what I'm telling you. Bro. I know 3 people, same family, they took the shot and went deaf in the same arm. I know
deaf in the same.
They went deaf in the same ear as they took the shot in the arm.
Same side.
On the same side.
Yeah.
So I know 3 people personally. So that's what I'm saying. It was long-term effects that we're not hearing about.
Yeah, it's gonna be some, and we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
But with the right doctor, finding it.
Yeah.
Because like I say, man, I took it, and my arm has been hurting ever since.
Let me ask this: if COVID come about, well, it did, but with this COVID. And the government never came up with a vaccine and be like, okay, well, we just got to hope it passed. Keep your fingers crossed. What do y'all think the American people would be saying?
Well, we should have did like London. If I'm not mistaken, London did not take the shot. They were the first to London and China, they were the first to just now I keep saying hibernate. Quarantine, and that helped
Animals
them
hibernate.
swiftly because they were out of quarantine quicker than any of the other countries because they went into that
Hibernation.
Yes, they got well, then they got sick again, just like us.
Yeah.
And then they got well, and they was out. They didn't
Well, it
take
was
no
worse in China, wasn't it?
Why were we shipping vaccines to other countries? They were asking us.
Well, I don't know, but not every country took them shots. That's what I'm saying.
Now, you had a couple of people like you say, some countries were totally against the shot.
Yeah.
But I think that was more governmental reasons rather than individuals, or it could have been vice versa. I don't know, but you did have some countries. You had people in America that would refuse to take that shot.
Yeah.
Because they didn't trust it. It wasn't enough time ran a course on it to see the long-term effects. There was just not enough time to find out what
the shot was never approved.
It was rushed.
So back to my original question. What do y'all think the American people would have said if all of these deaths were happening and the government say, oh, well, keep your fingers crossed. We're not going to try to come up with nothing to cure this. We're just going to hope you don't get it.
Well, good luck.
They'd be criticizing the government, asking and saying, why aren't they trying to do something about it?
Of course.
Could you repeat that, K-Money?
I say, I'm sure the citizens would be criticizing the government on why they're not trying to find a cure or a solution to this problem.
Now, what happens when you do find a quick solution to the problem?
You still have unsatisfied people.
Either way,
it was a lose-lose situation. Yeah, it was just bad. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm only got a few more here. Climate change, catastrophic, uncontrolled global warming could trigger runaway feedback loops, making Earth inhabitable. Climate change. I see that. That's what I was telling you about the ozone layer.
Yeah, we witnessing this every day.
Yeah, it gets hot and it gets cold. You just never know what the weather gonna be. It's crazy.
Stop throwing your plastic in the ocean.
Number 10. I don't know what this is. Maybe y'all can help me with this. Nanotechnology disasters. Self-replicating nanobots.
So that has something to do, kind of AI-ish, but not. Nano is something that is supposed to be how could I say it? Ah, man, I can't find the words for it. But it's something dealing with medicine and not medicine, but physically fixing something or taking on a physical form. Nanotechnology is something that, for example, here's an example of nano.
Yeah.
Elon Musk has created a robot or something of the sort to be able to carry a baby for 9 months.
Oh, no.
That's like nanotechnology.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? That's taking AI and making it do something
that's not supposed to be.
That it shouldn't be. Something that humans can do. Also, there's another type of nanotechnology you have where it's something with your brain. If you are paraplegic, it's a nanotechnology they use with your brain and make your stems move.
No.
Yeah, and give you sight again.
Man, we finna call you. We finna call you Animal Planet A&E. We finna call you everything. I didn't know about that.
Y'all didn't know that Slash got a degree in medical science.
He must have
next. One. I'm telling you, that's next. I'm a doctor on all kind of shit.
All right, number 11, a rogue planet collision. A wandering planet just in the solar system, just end up crashing to Earth. I don't see that.
I don't think it was built that way because how long that solar system been out there and ain't nothing besides they told us that Earth was a big boom.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that.
I don't believe that. It's too perfectly aligned.
It's too perfectly round.
Too perfectly aligned. Not too far from the sun. Not too close to the sun. No,
it's all been placed like
H2O
that, a certain way. God knew what he wanted.
He knew exactly what he wanted.
What to do.
Yeah, and like Cat Williams said, he got a joke. He said, "You got the recipe to water, but you can't make it. You got the H, the 2, and the O, but you can't make it.
You sure can't make it."
I said, you know what? Boy.
He ain't lying. You got the recipe for
You got the recipe,
but you can't make
water.
But
you can't make it. That's God's nectar there. And then his last one, I've never heard of this. A false vacuum decay. If the universe exists in a metastable state, A random quantum event could trigger a collapse of reality itself. I don't know what a vacuum decay
A collapse of what?
Reality itself. Yeah, I don't know what a vacuum decay is. I don't know what that means.
What it sounds like is that what 47 talking about with this dome.
Oh,
Around.
that's right.
Remember he said something about, we're gonna put a dome
around here when
So-
they had the nuclear war. So I get you.
So now you're gonna have a reason for it to, if whatever's under the dome, if the dome come down, it's destructed.
Exactly. It's sort of like when you shake up that little snowball. That snowball
Everything is affected.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, guys. With that, it's that time to throw somebody off the bus, right? But this week I'm gonna do it a little different because somebody sent me someone to throw off a bus, and I thought this was a terrible one. I thought this guy was terrible. But this week I don't want to throw nobody off. I actually want to put somebody on the bus. Oh, they got the bus right there. He be pulling up right in the middle of my conversation, man. Yeah. So this week, I'm not going to kick nobody out. I'm going to put somebody on, and this is a lot of players that did it, but I want to point out Kyrie Irving. So, towards the end of the season, they get a bonus. If they get so many rebounds, so many assists, so many points, they get a bonus, 50,000, 250,000 bonus. So he got, I think, the amount of points he needed, and he took the money, his bonus money, all of it, and donated it. So shout out to Kyrie. You got a transfer, you got a bus pass, you got everything to get on the 52 Scott.
You got a season pass.
Yes, sir. So with that, that's our show for today. You guys take it easy. Peace. This concludes our show for today. And if you haven't done so already, follow us on X at 52 Scott Podcast. Also, IG and Facebook at the 52 Scott Podcast. Also, like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Black Friday.